I stole over $20,000 in the 90's. I worked at a fast food chain in the 90's. When I was in high school, when I worked there, they were in the process of phasing out denominational gift certificates. $5, $10, and $25 the way it worked was. If you spent more than half of the certificate, they gave you the cash back. So if you ordered $5.50 worth of food and gave them one of the $10 gift cards, they gave you the $4.50 back in cash. My manager was in charge of destroying all the existing certificates as we transition to the more traditional credit card-looking gift cards. So my manager said he shredded the certificates like he was supposed to. But one night, when I was closing, I found the boxes of the gift cards tucked deep in the dry storage room. They were filled with the certificates that were supposed to be shredded, so I scooped them up, brought them out to the dumpster in trash bags, and threw them away. After we closed, I came back and recovered the back and brought the certificates home. I counted them. There were $1,025, $1,010, and $505 certificates. None of them had expiration dates. Total haul was $40,000 in fast food certificates. My manager never said a word. He couldn't. He had reported them destroyed weeks earlier. Over the next 3 years, my girlfriend and I toured every location in our state and the next for states, ordering food and getting the change. We never kept track on a spreadsheet or anything, but we got good at knowing what menu items were just about half. After the first year, we started saving the change in a shoebox and let it build up. I bought my first car for $7,800 cash from the change, and for some reason a kitty cone was $1. If you gave them a $5 cert, they gave you $3.95 back. We threw away a lot of kitty cones. Edit. Holy crap, this blew up. Here are the answers to some of the facts. 1. We could hit 10 to 12 stores in a day. If we drove around for 5 to 6 hours, both of us would use a gift cert. It was not that labor intensive. 2. The only cameras in the store were at the cash registers and takeout window. 3. The manager has no clue who took them, or at least never treated me differently. For each gift certificate had a generic PLU on them. All the $25 were PLU number 756. 5. When we stopped selling the certificates, we were told to keep honoring them because they were prepaid, they were not coupons. 6. One can only eat so many ice cream cones.
My aunt hit my mother, so I dragged her across the floor and punched her till she passed out. My aunt is a poisonous woman. Our whole family doesn't talk to her. She's done things in the past you wouldn't believe, so she left our lives years ago. Recently, she returned out of the blue at my mom's house. My mom has 2 other sisters and a brother. My mom and aunt never got on. My mom is a lovely person, but she could sense from a young age something was off about her sister, so she kept her distance. My aunt was nasty and would hurt people's feelings intentionally for no reason. She never had a partner or kids. She isolated herself from everyone. My gran cut her off when she tried to steal thousands of dollars from her. We all genuinely think there's something physiologically wrong with her. So back to where I was going with this. One morning I was at my mom's house just chilling out, and there was a knock at the door. So I opened it and there she was. She walked in. She looked like she had took drugs. She looked dead behind the eyes. I tried to stop her, but she pushed me down. I honestly don't know why she came to my mom's house out of everyone. I quickly got up and she went into the kitchen. She startled my mom and punched her in the face. My mom didn't even have a chance to blink before she hit her. She went down like a ton of bricks. My heart felt like it had been sucked through into my stomach. When I seen it, something came over me. I don't know if it was anger or adrenaline, but I ran up behind her and grabbed her hair, and I dragged her out onto the back lawn, and I bashed her face about 15 times. Blood was everywhere. Thankfully, no one seen me, or I might not have been writing this right now. I got up and I left her there. I went to check my mom. She was in a lot of pain. I looked back out the window and she was gone. We told our family immediately about this, and they were perplexed and angry as to why she just turned up and attacked my mom. I'm still so hurt and angry as I write this, but I also feel tremendously guilty and upset that I done that to her, because I've never fought anyone and I'm not a fighter at all. But something came over me and I snapped. I can't get over it. For some reason, it just seemed so unreal and there was no reason for the attack. God forbid she had a weapon. That's truly scary to think about. We didn't call the police, as I assaulted her badly and didn't want it to bounce back on me. That's another thing I feel ashamed about. But should I feel bad or not? I need others' opinions, as I've been bottling this up for a while. My gran was devastated. She just wanted her daughter back, but from a young age she took to drugs, spent time in prison, and a amount of other things. You can't help someone who doesn't want to be saved.
I lied to a blind neighbor and told him I moved away. Many years ago, I was standing on one of my balconies when a taxi driver was obnoxiously blowing his horn out front and yelling for a blind man to walk toward my voice from his own townhouse. That direction was toward traffic. My roommate and I went down and helped him to the taxi and scolded the driver for being so rude. I made the mistake of giving the blind neighbor my phone number so that I could give him a ride in the future. Then the phone calls came and never stopped, and when I gave him a ride, he would ask for various detours. I'm very calculated by nature. If he had told me beforehand where he wanted to go, it would be cool, but no, we'd be driving along and he'd throw into 3 extra places on each ride. And it came to be every day that he wanted rides. And he'd even call me to remind me to give him a ride, not that was ever late or backed out. Finally, I had enough, so I gauged how blind he was. His response was that he was blind as about a week or 2 after he said that I told him I had a job interview in the next city.
A week after that, I told him I got the job and was moving away in a month.
I chocolated on my neighbor's doorstep. So back when I was 10, my dad asked me if I wanted to make 20. I accepted. The catch: I had to on our neighbor's doorstep. It was clear my dad had beef with this woman. She woke in the morning and tried to blame our chihuahua. My dad yelled at her, saying that the was bigger than our dog. Impossible. The point is, I don't feel bad for ever daddy's girl.